Our top story tonight at 6. This woman right here, 44-year-old Nicole Kazan, stabbed her boyfriend to death after an altercation at her West Toledo apartment last year. But this week, Kazan was only sentenced to 4 years of probation, with the judge calling the case a clear example of battered women syndrome. Michael Sandlin joins us live tonight from Lucas County Common Pleas Court with more on this decision. Mike, first, what exactly is battered women syndrome and what does it mean for this case?
Well, Melissa, it's a term used to describe the psychological damage that domestic violence victims face after years of abuse, to the point where they themselves feel like they need to resort to violence to be free. I spoke to a local defense attorney earlier today who tells me it's an accepted legal defense, and as one director of a local domestic violence shelter will tell you, sometimes the victims feel like they have no other way out. May 3rd, 2022. Court documents show Nicole Kazan's on and off again boyfriend, Jeff Barker, showed up to her West Toledo apartment uninvited. Kazan asked Barker to leave, but he refused. Kazan called 911, and in response, Barker throws her onto a coffee table and beats her. As Kazan staggered to her feet, Barker rushed at her again, but this time she grabbed a kitchen knife off the counter and stabbed him in the chest.
I've had survivors tell me that, it's going to be either me or him. Like, it often comes to a point where someone's going to get hurt really bad, if not killed.
That's Deidre Lashley with the Bethany House, a long-term housing center for domestic violence survivors. She says these kinds of stories are more common than people realize, and it starts with people who feel trapped with abusive partners and not knowing how to escape.
This is someone who's supposed to love and protect you, and so to make that split and to finally take that step to leave, it's very complicated. But then you add the component of, I could have my life in danger if I leave. That is a very real threat.
When the threat feels inescapable, the victim resorts to violence. But the court can sometimes sympathize. Kazan was originally charged with murder, but the 8 years of physical abuse complaints Kazan filed against Barker, the bruising on her body, and perhaps most importantly, a psych profile revealing she had battered women syndrome, all led to the charge being reduced to involuntary manslaughter. Defense attorney Jerry Phillips says battered women designations have become a game changer for victims in Ohio law.
Well, now there are cases where women, typically women, will shoot the perpetrator while that perpetrator is sleeping, and still the battered women syndrome can apply and can be a defense in that case.
Now, for the first time, the background leading up to the violence helps determine the punishment, which in Kazan's case is 4 years of community control. Lashley says it's an example of victims being heard in a court system that doesn't always listen.
I think that's needed more than ever, just to be able to see the nuances and the context for the violence, and that survivors have a chance to explain.
Kazan is now a free woman, but if she violates the rules of her community control, she could still end up with 16 years in jail. But not every victim is so lucky. Lashley says there are many examples of people with similar stories who ended up behind bars. Reporting in downtown Toledo, I'm Michael Sandlin for WTOL 11.